This is Oshkosh Today, your connection to events and organizations in the Oshkosh area. Oshkosh Today is supported in part by the Friends of OCM, Aurora Healthcare, 855 Northwest Haven Drive. Set design provided by House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on Oshkosh Today, your source for all things local Oshkosh. I'm your host, Emily Mikowski, and we have another great show lined up for you today, full of fall fun actually, if you can believe it or not. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have on tap for this program. First up, we've got the Rethink Addiction 5K Run and Walk. We'll tell you how you can register and why this is such a great way to show your support for addiction recovery. And it's hard to believe, but fall is just around the corner, so let's celebrate the start of the new season with the Senior Center Fall Family Fun Fest. We'll hear about all the activities that make it impossible to be bored on that Sunday. I got out of the studio last week and visited a hidden historical treasure here in Oshkosh, the Morgan House. We can learn more about this beautiful Queen Anne style house and about the Winnebago County Historical Society. Peace Lutheran Church is planning an event at the Boys and Girls Club this fall, and all for a great cause, so get your non-perishable food donations ready for this fun, free community night. Finally, plan to head downtown for the Oshkosh Chalk Walk. You won't want to miss the amazing artistic talent that will be displayed, all with chalk. We'll hear all about it right here before we round out the show with a segment of Focus on Health with our friends at Aurora. So we're going to go ahead and kick off the show with our first guest. We have Heidi Keating here for the Rethink Addiction Run and Walk. So thanks so much for joining us today, Heidi.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So this is actually, it's such a cool a cause that not a lot of people think about, really, is addiction. Mm-hmm. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about who this run is targeted towards.
Yeah, absolutely. The Winnebago County Heroin Task Force is one of the organizing groups that's putting it on. We have divided into 4 pillars and to address the heroin problem in Winnebago County. And it's not just a Winnebago County problem, it's happening throughout the state and throughout the nation. So one of the pillars is prevention, and the prevention pillar wanted to put on this event to raise awareness about addiction, about people that struggle with addiction being a disease, and also family members that support their loved one with addiction and kind of the struggles that they go through as well.
Mm-hmm. Is this the first year that we've?
Yes, this is the first year. We hope to grow it each year. Yeah, this is our kickoff event. So
exciting.
Yeah.
And like you said, a lot of people, they don't realize that addiction is a disease. And maybe you could talk a little bit more about that and how serious of an issue this really is.
Unfortunately, it's it's hitting our county pretty hard. It's we're seeing with more science and more research behind addiction, we're seeing that it's a brain disease and that there is treatment. It's a difficult disease. Many people sometimes think that it's the person's choice or they just made bad choices. But I think as more science and research shows that it's a brain disease and it needs to be treated like a brain disease, and so we are trying to raise awareness, about that, and that there's recovery and there's hope, and that that there's a future for a positive and hopeful future for people that have struggled with addiction.
Definitely, and what better way to do it than on a beautiful day and
yes.
with a large group of people like this.
Yeah.
And it's going to be right here in Oshkosh, yes?
It is. It's September 13th, which is a Saturday. We are going to start at Solutions Recovery Club, Recovery Center. It's 621 Evans Street in Oshkosh, and that's our starting point. And then we will walk through Menominee Park. And so we're hoping for a beautiful day.
Yes, and even if it isn't, a perfect day, Menominee Park's just beautiful
yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
So it's a great place to have something like this. Who is the run and walk open to? Who can participate?
It's open to everybody. It's a community event. It's for all ages, all abilities. We definitely wanted to do a run walk. So if you're a competitive runner, you're welcome to participate. We have prizes available for top finishers. And if you just want to get out and stroll, you can do that and support a great cause.
Excellent. So people like me that are not runners in the least are still able to
yeah, and
to
we're hoping, you know, that the day and that, you know, people come out to just support the cause.
And really make a day out of it too.
Yeah, absolutely. We after the finish, Solutions is going to host an open house so people can kind of see, you know, what is a recovery club, and that they have this location for people in recovery to hang out, safe place. They also host AA meetings and Al-Anon meetings, but there's also a place for, you know, having pizza and soda and playing pool and that kind of thing.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's a great place.
But really, I mean, raise awareness, and a lot of people, like, I don't even realize that these kind of places are around, like the Solutions place. So
yeah, and it's, you know, it's really important for, you know, people that go through treatment. You know, once you go through a program, usually they go through a program, you know, outpatient, there's outpatient treatment, there's inpatient treatment, and then a critical part of treatment is the aftercare and kind of that, and there's a big recovery community in Oshkosh and in Winnebago County, and so, you know, it's being able to connect with other people in recovery and, you know, and really support one another in their recovery.
And it's, you know, also important to remember, I mean, it's not a, you know, you're recovered and you're done. It's kind of like a rest of your life kind of thing, right? That you're just consistently recovering.
I think, you know, it's really important that, you know, what people have said that have gone through recovery and are in recovery, that, you know, it is change. It's a lifestyle change. So it's, you know, and part of it is giving back to the community, and part of it is participating, you know, in meetings and that kind of thing, and you know, really kind of keeping your recovery in the forefront of your life. Because if you kind of, sometimes if people push it to the, you know, as not important part, relapse is possible. And so the recovery community is a very supportive community and wants to see people succeed and help them succeed.
It's just so great. And we have a few sponsors for the event. If you maybe want to talk about them a little bit.
We do, yeah. It's, you know, being the first time that we're doing this, we reached out to the community, and so we have Theta Care as a sponsor. We have C.R. Meyer as a sponsor, and we have First National Bank as a sponsor. We also have many companies that are donating items for the goodie bags. There's goodie bags for the after the event, and in-kind donations, food, water, that kind of thing. There's going to be lots of food after the event, water along the trail, that kind of thing. So we've been really fortunate. I mean, people have been very supportive, and also family members and have donated money. You know, people that struggle, you know, they really understand more than anybody what it's like to have a family member and, you know, addicted, and what that's like. And so they've also offered financial support, which is, you know, really, really great.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like the community has really embraced this event, and it's only going to grow from here on out.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a, you know, it's a difficult topic to talk about, but we hope to raise some money to support prevention programs, as well as treatment, local treatment programs.
Excellent. And then this is, Rethink is behind this. We have a program that airs here on CATV2 as well by them. And if you want to briefly just explain what Rethink is all about. Yeah,
Rethink is Winnebago's Healthy Living Coalition. And so we are we're divided into 6 focus areas. And so substance abuse prevention is one of them, and that's kind of where the heroin task force is associated with. And there's also tobacco prevention, there's mental health, there's physical activity, nutrition, and the Youth Coalition. So we've really been able to grow the Rethink Coalition and focusing on healthy lifestyles for residents of Winnebago County.
Excellent. So September 13th, Saturday, we'll be out there for the run walk for the addiction.
Absolutely. Yeah, great.
So thanks so much, Heidi, for coming in and telling us all about it. We hope to have you back soon.
Thank you very much.
Coming up next, Fall Family Fun Fest at the Senior Center is something we look forward to every year. When we come back, we'll hear all about what we can plan for this year.
Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow. When we see a roundabout, take it slow. Then we pick the correct lane and take it slow. When we see a car approach, we yield to the left. When we're in that roundabout, we don't pass anybody yet. Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow.
Visit wisconsinroundabouts.com for more info from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Want to know what's happening in local government? Stay in the know with City of Oshkosh government meetings live on TV City Cable 10, online at oshkoshcommunitymedia.org, and on community radio WOCT 101.9 FM. Miss the live coverage? No problem. Catch replays on City Cable 10. Stream online from oshkoshcommunitymedia.org or visit youtube.com/Oshkosh Community Media Services.
Welcome back to Oshkosh Today, and now we are going to talk about the Senior Center, the Oshkosh Senior Center Fall Family Fun Fest. We have our friend Julie Kiefer from the Oshkosh Senior Center here to tell us all about it. So thanks, first of all, Julie, so much for coming in.
Sure, thank you.
Always love having you, and you always have so much going on over at the Senior Center, and this is a big event that we look forward to every year. So first, if you want to just tell us a little bit about what Fall Family Fun Fest is.
Well, the Fall Family Fun Fest was started by our Friends organization, and they started about 10 years ago as a way to celebrate Grandparents' Day. So who else in the community is going to celebrate Grandparents' Day if we don't do it? And it has grown from a couple of games out in the parking lot to a huge event now that we have games, silent auction, bake sale, music, foods, and now a run walk as well. So it's really grown into a huge event.
It's just amazing how much it's grown. I mean,
yes.
Even over the past few years. So Sunday, September 7th is
September 7th.
Grandparents' Day, the date.
That's right. It's always the Sunday following Labor Day. Okay. So it will always be that day. You can always come to the Senior Center that day and find things to do.
Excellent. And it's kind of an all-day event. It starts at 10, 11?
Well, the run walk starts at 10,
okay.
And then the Fall Fest starts at 11. So also that day, we were doing a separate event later in the fall called the Granny Smith Run Walk, and we decided to do that all on one day and make it kind of a bigger one-day event. So regardless of the name, you don't have to be a granny to run. Anyone is welcome, or walk, yes. And we have 3 different routes that we have, a 1-mile walk, a 2-mile, you can either walk or run, and then a 5K. So a couple of different options. We leave from our south building and then use the Riverwalk behind our building, cross the Ohio Street Bridge, and then use the Weowash Trail around the university and come back. So it's a really pretty route and nice to do in that morning.
Wonderful. I love hearing about all these runs in the fall because it's like the perfect time to do it. And Oshkosh obviously has so many beautiful areas to go in, so it's just great and open to all skill levels, like you said.
Yes.
And then after the Granny Smith Run Walk, there's the Fall Family Fun Fest. So if you want to tell us a little bit about what we can expect.
So as soon as you're done walking or running, you can come on over, and there's a whole variety of things. The Del Rays are in the tent playing, and they play, if you're not familiar with them, although they have quite a following, they play kind of your favorites from the 50s, 60s, 70s. And there's always people out there dancing and listening to the music. Lots of grilled burgers and brats and those kinds of things. Inside the building, we also have a big bounce house from the Y.
Those are always a hit.
Right? And don't they look like fun? And then a lot of city vehicles, so some fire trucks, some police vehicles, a K9 demonstration will happen sometime in the afternoon. So some of those kinds of fun things will be in the parking lot. Inside the building, we have a silent auction, a bake sale, we have grab bags for sale, a photo booth, and then we have some games at different skill levels. We have some really little kid games, and then we also have minute to win it games.
Oh.
So kind of for that older kid or adult that likes to play those kind of fun games, those are a lot of fun to do as well.
Oh, that's so
And
fun.
I should mention we also have Glacier Ridge Animal Farm bringing a mini petting zoo that day as well. So that'll be outside, obviously.
Oh my gosh, so there's so many options, and like I said earlier, it's impossible to be bored at an event like this. I mean,
Right.
music, games, food, auctions, everything. How much does it cost to attend something like this?
Well, the event itself is free. Obviously, if you're going to take part in the auction or the bake sale, which we hope you do, those have small fees. The games are 25 cents a ticket for the little kid for the kids' games, and then the Granny Smith prior to the event is $10 for the 1 or 2 mile and $12 for the 5K. And then the day of, you can still register, although we can't guarantee you a t-shirt at that point. And that's going to be $10 and $15 for those 2 events.
Okay.
But everyone who participates gets a caramel apple, and they also get entered, into a raffle to win some gift cards. We have $100 from Oshkosh Cyclery, $25 from Target, $25 from Shopko, $25 from Festival, and $25 from Culver's.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it's and everybody goes in, not just the top finishers.
Well, you had me at Caramel Apple. So.
Right.
And everyone loves to have the t-shirt when they do things like this too.
Right.
So that's just great. And we want to talk about where the proceeds, this is a huge event and you're raising a lot of funds. Where are the proceeds going to?
Right. The Friends of the Oshkosh Senior Center are our nonprofit fundraising arm of our organization. They hold the 501c3 designation, and they really help to supplement and bring funds back to the center to help pay for programs and activities and special services that we might have. And so all that money just stays right there local at the senior center and serves people that are 50 and older in our community.
That is so great. And it's, like you said, the event's been growing and growing, and it only continues to grow. So it's a great way to raise funds for the senior center.
It is.
And then maybe if you want to tell us a little bit more about the senior center itself, what exactly are the programs and stuff that you offer there?
Sure. Well, the Oshkosh Senior Center is open to anyone who is 50 and older. There is no membership, or you don't have to pay something to join. We, just come on down. There are some small fees for some programs. It kind of depends, but there's anything from exercise and fitness, arts, wood shop. I'm going to go blank now. We have a full fitness center, regular exercise programming Monday through Friday. How could I forget? Lots of social activities, wellness programming, and of course, we have volunteer opportunities.
Okay. And I know the exercise classes are huge over there.
They are.
People love them.
They do love them. They do love them. So that's really great. It's an excellent way to find an affordable way to work out in the morning.
Wonderful. And I guess maybe you can tell us a little bit more about some of the auction items. I know you mentioned some of the prizes for the run, but the silent auction that's always something I love to do when I go.
Well, we have a really neat Badger basket. There's some gardening items. There are things for holidays that are upcoming. There's some PAC tickets and a lot of gift cards and gift certificates to local restaurants and places to go around town. So really great opportunity. Some camping opportunities. So
very cool.
Some really neat things. And then we also have raffle tickets for sale as well. And those raffle tickets, the first prize is 2 nights at the Wilderness in the Dells. Second prize is a shopping spree at Shopko for $250.
Wow.
The third prize is a $100 gift card to Quick Trip. And then we have 2 cash prizes for the fourth and fifth prize winners, $100 in cash.
Excellent.
So if you need a raffle ticket, please call me.
Okay, so you buy the raffle tickets prior to
You can buy them prior. They're for sale right now. You can buy them the day of as well.
Okay.
And all staff and board members have to sell them, so if anybody needs tickets, please call me.
Wonderful. Great. Well, I'll be giving you calls soon then.
Thank you.
And if you want to just maybe give us a little recap, date, times, and some of the highlights.
So it's Sunday, September 7th from 11 to 3. The Granny Smith walk starts at 10. If you're interested in participating that day of, I would come over around 9 o'clock to register. Okay. But if you can register early, that always helps.
Yes, and it's going to be a beautiful day.
It is. We do it rain or shine. No matter what, we will have the event.
Wonderful. Well, we're really looking forward to it. And thanks again, as always, for coming in, Julie.
Yes, thank you.
Coming up next, we got to take a trip to the Morgan House here in Oshkosh last week and learn a little bit more about that house as well as the Winnebago County Historical Society. We'll be right back on Oshkosh Today.
Hi everybody, I'm Jeff Daniels. I'm sitting on stage at the newly renovated Grand Opera House in Oshkosh. Where I live, the arts are for everybody and everybody's for the arts. Communities like Oshkosh are lucky to have places like the Grand Opera House. So do yourself a favor, buy a ticket to the Grand Opera House, see a show, you won't be sorry.
Thanks again for joining us on Oshkosh Today, and it's really amazing how much history is right here in Oshkosh, just down the street. Now we're at the historical Morgan House, right across from City Hall actually, with Julie Johnson, who's going to tell us a little bit more on the story of this beautiful old house here. So Julie, thanks for making some time for us out here today.
My pleasure.
So give us a little history lesson. What's the background of the Morgan House here?
Well, the Morgan House was built by John Rogers and Eleanor Morgan in the year 1884, and actually the Morgans had purchased this piece of property in the latter part of the 1850s. They came here in 1855, and they were actually living in that piece of property just right over yonder. There was a one-story home there. So Mrs. Morgan got to see her home being built every single day, and it must have been very exciting. So she goes from a one-story home to this beautiful, almost three-story Queen Anne style home in 1884. The Winnebago County Historical and Archaeological Society acquired the house in 1987. And we've been restoring the house ever since. So here we are about 30 years later, and through all these past years, the idea was just to kind of, focus in on the family and the history of the house and the people, and restore the home so that we could get it up and running for tours and people could come in and see it and whatnot. So that's kind of where we're at right now. The house basically is almost 100% renovated, restored, I should say, not necessarily to an original 1884 appearance of what John Rogers and his wife Eleanor would have had, but we did the best job that I think we could do in restoring it to something that was very period for its time.
Mm-hmm. And that was going to be my next question. What you mentioned tours. How often are those available, and are they open to the public? Can anyone just walk up and take a tour, or what does
Well, yes and no. This summer we decided to have the house open free to the public every Saturday from 9 to noon, Memorial Day to Labor Day, Saturday. And otherwise it's by appointment. And I don't want to make that sound like it's kind of elitist. Anybody can call and get an appointment to come in and tour the Morgan House just about any time. It would be a matter of getting somebody to come in and give you the tour during the week or whatever. But we do that too. So
excellent. And where's the number? What number can you call, or where can you go to email or anything like that?
www.winnebagocountyshistoricalsociety.com, and there's information also on the webpage, also phone numbers and all that too.
Wonderful. And you can actually find, all the other different sites around Oshkosh too that you can visit as well on the website.
Yes, we have a historical markers page on the webpage, and that's up and running with a lot of different sites in Winnebago County. Markers that the Winnebago County Historical Society put up through the many years, starting from about 1919 through to the present.
Wow.
So there's a lot of other things you can get in touch with and go visit and go see also.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the Morgan House. What are some of the things that give away where it's from or what year it's from, and the history of it?
Sure. Well, in 1884, when the house was built, by the way, the Morgans moved in just a couple of days before Christmas that year, and it was a very, very bitter cold winter, although I'm sure that it overshadowed everything from the excitement of moving into this beautiful home, coming from a one-story home to this beautiful Queen Anne style. But there was a lovely write-up in the paper about the homes that were built that season. The Morgan House was the premier home in that article, and there were several others. Bell and Cole architected and built this home, and there were also William Waters, another very well-known local architect, was also incorporated into the article with homes that he had built that season also. And they made it very clear in the article that for a long time Queen Anne style homes were all the rage in the East, and now everybody in Oshkosh in the West here wanted a Queen Anne style home. So it was purely because it was all the rage. It was the most fashionable thing to do. And in this period of the 1880s, Oshkosh was in a large building boom. Everyone had money to build. As a matter of fact, the paper says that even the poor were building more than the wealthy.
Really?
So for some reason, everybody all of a sudden in the 1880s, we had our last big Great Fire in 1875. by this period, in 1884, 83, 85, 1886, everybody had a little bit of money to build. And as a matter of fact, the newspaper says that other articles that all you could hear all over Oshkosh was banging and sawing in this 1880s period.
Really?
So it was a very big building boom. So buildings like this were highly fashionable, very exciting. Now we see the wealthy as well as the poor really starting to build and really have completely recovered over the last fire of 1875, which devastated all of downtown and a great deal of the east side.
It's so interesting to hear the history on, you know, you just drive past this house every day, you don't realize how much is behind it. And you had said that it's almost fully renovated. It looks like you're doing some renovations on the outside right now.
Yep.
What's left in the big renovation project?
Well, nothing too much outside of painting the home, maybe in the next 10 years, a new roof on the house, that type of thing. We still have maybe one room upstairs that we would like to wallpaper and renovate. We have it nicely painted. It's all freshened up and in very good shape. It certainly isn't in an original state that it was in 1884. So that could be, you know, one project that we could do. All it really needs is to be wallpapered and that type of thing. So, you know, we pretty much have kind of arrived. There are smaller projects like railings on the front porch, the original railings we'd like to replicate and that type of thing.
Really, and it's really interesting how you try and keep everything as close to the original as you can.
Or at least period.
Right, at least the period. And like you said, open for tours to anyone. Go on to the website, which is Winnebago County Historical Society. We got a couple seconds left. If you maybe want to give us a couple other little locations that we can visit out here in Oshkosh that might be surprising to some people.
Well, actually, this whole neighborhood here was inhabited by Morgan's relatives and family members. The house right in back here belonged to his daughter. If your father was wealthy in this period of time, guess what you got for a wedding gift? You got a house. So they tore down the one-story home that they originally had been living in, and Mr. Morgan built the house right next door here for his eldest daughter, Elnora Morgan, and her husband. And by the way, she was born on that property, and she also died on that property also.
Oh my gosh.
So then Mr. Morgan's nephew lived across the street in the house over there. His nephew lived 2 doors down. His in-laws lived across the street, and their children lived down the street. And Mr. Morgan's brother lived on the front of Jackson here in front of the safety building.
That's amazing.
Yep, his son
they didn't travel too far.
All right, they did not. They did not. People in those days and for many, many, many years, they kept their piece of property, and that's where they stayed their whole entire lives. And sometimes their children took over the property, and they stayed there as well. So there wasn't all this moving around. They just didn't do that. People didn't do that for decades. It's really our generation that does that a lot. So.
Yes. Well, I think I would take a wedding present as a house any day.
I would as well. I don't care if it's even next door to my dad, Mom.
Right, exactly. Well, thank you so much for bringing us out here, and make sure to check out the website for all the other cool locations that you can check out here in Oshkosh that have all this history behind them. So cool. So Julie, thanks again.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break here on Oshkosh Today, and we'll be right back with more on CATV2 right after this.
Stay connected with Oshkosh Community Media Services and the City of Oshkosh. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube. Sign up for e-updates. More resources, including video, at OshkoshCommunityMedia.org. Oshkosh Community Media is your media on your schedule. Connect with us today.
Welcome back to Oshkosh Today, and thank you again for joining us. Now we have Pastor John Warzala-Dumke from Peace Lutheran Church here to tell us about a really cool event that you guys are planning for the first time this year, actually.
Yeah.
So
Well,
thanks so much for coming in today, Pastor John.
thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
So this event, it's called Hope Lives Here, kind of a community event. When exactly is it?
It's September 20th, so this upcoming September. And the event will begin at about 3:30. Doors will open.
Excellent.
So.
And this takes place over at the Oshkosh Boys and Girls Club?
Yep, over on Parkway Avenue.
Okay. Very cool building over there. It's nice and new. And
yeah, they did an excellent job with that.
So is there any kind of cost associated with this? Do you have to pay to get in or anything like that?
Well, the event is free, but we're encouraging people to bring a non-perishable food item. And everyone will be allowed in, but if you have a food item, you will be able to enter your name in the contest to win some prizes.
Very cool. Added bonus there. And maybe you just want to tell us a little bit about the event itself. What's going to be going on? What can we expect?
Sure. Well, there's going to be AJ, the animated illusionist. He'll be some entertainment. Also, Bob Lenz from Life Promotions will be speaking at the event. Bob is a nationwide speaker. They're actually, their organization is in Appleton, but they host the Life Fest that's here in Oshkosh each year. And so Bob will be speaking about a few subjects that are kind of hard for young people right now, with bullying and suicide and also substance abuse, and you know, just reminding them that there is hope out there, and that, you know, people care about them.
And there are people that are willing to help you, you know.
Absolutely.
You are dealing with things like that. And that's really what this event is all about, is supporting, you know, not only suicide awareness, but, you know, bullying and depression, that kind of thing. Maybe you can tell us a little bit of background about that, why you decided to choose that.
Sure. Well, we had a string of a couple suicides last year, and then also reports of overdoses with heroin, and heroin is a problem, not only in Oshkosh, but in Winnebago County and the surrounding Fox Valley. And we want to make sure that the young people in the area know that, you know, there are other choices they can make, and that there are ways to get help, even if they've started using or if they are, you know, considering suicide. That there are people who care about them and they want to get them help, and all they need to do is ask. And so there'll be some booths set up at the event with groups like NAMI, the Bella Medical Clinic, Boys and Girls Club, Lutheran Food Pantry, U.S. Bank, even a little financial advice about, hey, you know, after high school, what's out there, and the possibility of tech school or college or the workforce, and then how do you manage that world beyond school? So
yes, that's a big one for people, especially like when you said graduating high school. It's like that's a huge transition for a lot of people. So very cool. So is this event open to anyone, or is it kind of targeted at certain people or anything?
Targeted for the young people of the community. You know, you're looking 6th grade and up, that kind of age bracket, but you know, all are welcome. And then following Bob's talk, there will be a DJ dance with beats to go, and so they will be providing some music. So it's not just a completely serious atmosphere. It's one where we're reminded of all the gifts of our community and the things that we can celebrate, and one of them is music and dancing. So that'll be a nice way to end the evening together. And Glass Nickel Pizza will be there, and there'll be pizza for purchase. So they're a great support, and we really appreciate them hopping on board. This all kind of just stemmed from a member over at Peace who, you know, was seeing a lot of the hurt and the pain and in the community, and wanted to reach out. And so she went to work, and you know, we were able to support it as well, and so did Life Promotions and Glass Nickel. And so we're really excited about all the groups who are going to have a booth there, and you know, I think it'd be a nice community night.
It's just amazing how, from one, you know, little idea that sparked this, how much of a cool event that this is going to actually be.
Absolutely.
Are you planning on maybe continuing it as the years go on, or, you know?
We'll see. I mean, this is the first time this has been done, at least that we know of, and we'll see how it goes. If it's an annual event, great and wonderful. But if not, hopefully it has an impact in the lives of the young people here in Oshkosh, so that they realize that, you know, there is hope out there, and that just because there are a lot of difficult things going on in their lives and also in the world, that doesn't mean that we have to give up. That doesn't mean that we have to look for other outlets, that there are healthy resources, and that there are people out there who are able to help them when they hit those tough places in life.
Yes.
So.
And I think really, I mean, all it takes is someone to reach out and, you know, approach someone. And a lot of times you forget that, you know, you know these resources are all here, but it takes someone to reach out to them to be able to utilize them.
Yeah, and sometimes it just starts with a simple conversation and sometimes a simple hello.
Yes, definitely. And this event, it sounds so cool. And I know you mentioned a performer well, Bob Lund's not really a performer or speaker, but can you tell us a little bit more about the performer?
AJ, the
yes,
animated illusionist.
I couldn't remember all that.
Yeah,
animated
so he does a variety of things.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of along the lines of magic and miming, and he basically tells a story without words. So he talks a little bit, but he's a pretty talented guy, so we're excited to have him along as well. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
So, I mean, throughout the night, Bob Lenz will be speaking, followed by the concert. So, the illusionist guy, he'll be somewhere around.
He'll probably precede Bob.
Okay.
Kind of as an opener.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Excellent. So, why do an event like this in Oshkosh? What was the motivation behind starting something like this?
Sure. Well, I mean, we saw that there was a lot of need in the community. And we were hearing those stories of hopelessness, and of the question, do people care? Mm-hmm. And this is hopefully a response saying, yes, we do. And here are other groups that care. And Oshkosh is a great place to be, mm-hmm. and we want to celebrate that as well, and to remind our young people that this is more than just their home, that this is a community, and in community we care about one another, and that we, when we need help, we should ask for it, and that there are people who are able to help. Mm-hmm. And people haven't given up on them. Definitely.
I really think that sense of community has kind of been lost over the years, and it's cool that we're starting to make that effort to, reach out and, support each other like that.
Yeah, we've become divided on so many issues, whether it's political or whatever, and mm-hmm. so we just want to remind that we're all human beings, you know? And we wanted to have it at the Boys and Girls Club so that it's an inviting space that, whether you attend a church or have a faith life or not, that doesn't matter in this case. Mm-hmm. What we want is we want the community to be there, and it's such a great facility as you noted, and great. So we'll be over there at Parkway on the 20th of September, and those doors will open at 3:30, and so hopefully there'll be a bunch of people there with some non-perishable food items.
Yes, and is there anywhere that people can go to get more information about this? Any websites or Facebooks or anything like that?
Well, it's linked to our website, which is peacelutheranchurch.com. But there's also posters all over the community, and you can always call the Boys and Girls Club and ask them for information, or else you could always call Peace Lutheran Church at 231-4730.
Excellent. And one more time, date and time of the event.
Date and time, it's September 20th. The doors will open at 3:30, and it's over at the Boys and Girls Club over on Parkway Avenue.
Wonderful. Well, we're really looking forward to it, and best of luck on your first year. I hope to have you back next year to talk about it even more.
That'd be wonderful. Thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome. So we're going to take a quick break here on Oshkosh Today, and when we come back, we will learn all about the first annual Oshkosh Talk Walk. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Mayor Bergtower, and I'm asking for your help. The city has several boards and commissions that play important roles in just about every aspect of local government. Whether it's the Parks Board or the Landmarks Commission, these and other boards act as a forum for citizens to address their concerns and questions about Oshkosh city government. The boards also provide members the opportunity to make positive suggestions to the council or city staff to move the city forward. So here's where we need your help. For our city to work effectively, we need active citizen participation. Many of our boards and commissions currently need members. We're asking for just a few hours of your time each month to serve on one of our boards or commissions and help to ensure a strong democratic process. So please consider serving on a city board or commission. For an application, visit the city website, stop by the city manager's office in City Hall, or call 236-5000. Thank you for your interest, and we look forward to your possible involvement.
Welcome back to Oshkosh Today, and thanks for joining us. We are now joined by our final guests of the program, Sandy Prunty and Kyla Morris, who is here to promote the Oshkosh Chalk Walk. So thank you, ladies, so much for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having us.
So this is such a cool event, the Oshkosh Chalk Walk, and it's the first annual event. So if you want to just start off by telling us what exactly is a chalk walk.
Go for it.
Sure, I'll go for it. So typically a chalk walk, the artists will come in, they'll get chalk, and they'll do big designs on the streets and sidewalks of a city. Well, we're doing something a little bit different this year. So we're doing big designs on 4x4 and 4x8 sheets of plywood that are treated and ready for the artists to come in. And they just do huge designs and go for the gold, and it's going to take place all day long and a lot of fun.
What's the date of it?
September 6th. Okay. It starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. There's going to be some artists drawing during Farmers Market. Okay. And they're going to be around the 400 block of North Main, Opera House Square, and Market Street. And they got to 6 o'clock to finish their creations. Okay. And then they get to the stores and people, the businesses who sponsored them will have them in their businesses for gallery walk that night. Oh. And then we're going to have a People's Choice Award and an Artist's Choice Award. Okay. So it's really
a little bit
fun.
of a competition in there too.
Oh, you bet.
Oh, yeah.
And the prize is really good because the prize is going to be a free choice spot for next year.
Oh, excellent.
So that's really cool.
Very cool. And so, I mean, the whole thing of this chalk walk, the whole day, you get to walk around and actually see these masterpieces being created.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's the fun of it. The thing that we've changed is, like Kyla was saying, is truly it should be on the sidewalk. So like it's here today and gone tonight. And we decided we wanted to have this a little bit longer. So we took a page out of our PEEP thing that we did, and we're going to have them in the stores and the businesses all month. So you'll be able to come down and see all the excitement of having it form and then see it throughout the month.
So cool. And even if you can't make it on that day, you still can see it afterwards too.
Exactly.
Gets
you just
dark
come
outside,
down.
You can bring them inside, and
That's right. That's right. We even have a rain spot, which you would really not have.
That's true.
If it's if it's outside. So we have a place to put it if it rains.
Yes.
Knock on wood. It's not going to rain. Not going to rain. Not going to rain. No.
And Kyla, you brought in an example that you had already done, and it was too big to fit, in here while we were to have during the interview. So we got a couple shots of it beforehand, and we had some pictures up of it as well before. But it's tell us a little bit about it. It's just amazing.
We needed an example to show the artists and the community like what exactly we're doing, because you just say chalk walk, nobody has any idea. So went ahead and we had our black and white chalk, and so I created Bill Murray out of the chalk on the 4x4 and just kind of used the tools to make sure that it was going to work first before we went headfirst into everything.
And it's just amazing. And I wish that we could have had it on set with us, because 4x4 is pretty big. Yeah. It doesn't sound like it's that big, but it's a pretty big space. Is that the dimensions for everyone? Is that, kind of a...
It's going to be your artist's choice of 4x4 or 4x8. Oh, okay. And they can go to the library and see one that was done 2 weeks ago at the farmer's market on a 4x8. Which is pretty spectacular because it's like raccoons in a pyramid.
They're like breaking into the chalk and causing havoc. So
it's more of a 3D effect where they're like coming through,
Yeah, and that's another cool thing about the chalk walk is, people kind of break it in so it does look kind of 3D. I know
exactly.
That's kind of a
Well, the neat thing too, Emily, I want to just point out is that we have an area for kids. The Oshkosh Public Library is sponsoring a kids section. So they will have a 1x2 foot board that they can make their art, and we will spray it and seal it, and then they can take it home.
That is so neat.
So that will be another thing that you can just be a spontaneous artist that day.
Oh, is it only open to kids, or can I do it too?
No, you have to go to the big board.
Oh man!
So we can sponsor you, Emily.
There you go.
Right now, for our first year, we have over 20 sponsors and artists, and we're like 2 weeks yet to go, and most of the cities get all their artists coming like at the end of the sign, well, what am I trying to say, at the end of the sign-ups time. So
wonderful. So this is a big event, a lot of planning went into it.
Yeah.
Who's all involved with, you know, not only the planning but the event itself?
Well, we had a committee of Kyla and myself. Kyla's with Backlot Comedy. I'm with Atomic Cats. We had Ted Wilcox from Reimer Jeweler. We had Connie Day from Market Boutique on Main. And we had Dennis Letterman with the Farmers Market. And then we have T-shirts. Satori Imports have made T-shirts for us. And
our website was all designed by Karen at Resident Tech. So it's a lot of downtown businesses getting together to put on the entire thing. So
it's just really a collaborative effort for all of us, really.
And I mean, what's the importance of having something like this downtown? It seems to me like the downtown area of Oshkosh has really, you know, blossomed the past, you know, decade or so. So what's the importance of drawing people down there and getting cool events like this?
To share how much fun we do have downtown. And I think one quick story, and I was passing out flyers and our posters. What was so funny is Hot Dog Charlie's a new business, and he wasn't open, so I shoved it through the mail slot. The next day I went up there and had lunch, got lunch, and said, hey, did you find your poster? And he goes, oh, I quickly called Leif Larson, and he's my artist. I'm like, nice. Yeah, but I'm out there promoting, and I don't have an artist, and you picked the plum of Leif Larson. But we were all just laughing.
That
but
is so cool.
I think it's to share how much fun the downtown businesses have, and just to create. It's family, you know. We're all in this together.
It really, I mean, I think this whole show has really kind of had a theme of community. It's everybody,
I agree.
You know, we're all tied together and we all support each other, and it's another great example of downtown community support.
It is, and we are not isolated. I mean, no one in this city, and we have so many positives in this city. And you're right, we were watching this show before we came on. It was like, that's really a cool event.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And, you know, we're so happy to have you guys out here. And I guess we've got about a minute left. So if there's any kind of cost involved, if you want to take part in the chalk walk.
Sure, it's $25 to participate as an artist. And that gives you everything you need. So you show up in the morning and it gives you all your supplies. You do have to register before August 30th to be involved as an artist. And then the children's area is $5, and that includes all of their supplies as well.
Very cool. And if you don't want to participate, you're welcome to come and
just come and watch and look and see. You get, for the $25, you get 48 colors, so you've got a wide range of what you want to do, and then 6 black and white.
Wow. Excellent.
Yeah.
So where can we find more information? I know you said you had a website.
Yep, it's downtownoshkoshtockwalk.com. And then also we have a Facebook page like everybody else, Downtown Oshkosh Chalk Walk.
Yes.
We also have like Twitter, so Chalk Osh.
Oh, yes. Social media, it's all over.
Hashtag artists, we want you now.
Yes, we need artists still, so if anybody is looking.
Wonderful.
We actually do have the enviable thing of having more sponsors than artists right now. But we're between schools. I mean, you know, so we're expecting a lot of students to come at the 11th hour.
And it's going to be great. We're really looking forward to it. And thank you both so much for coming down today.
Thank you so much for having us. We'll see you there.
We're going to go directly to Focus on Health right now. This time we're going to take a few moments to focus on some back and neck pain and some different treatment options that might be available for people who suffer from it. So let's go ahead and take a look at Focus on Health this week.
This Focus on Health segment is brought to you by Aurora Healthcare.
Hello and welcome to Focus on Health. I'm Ted Stefaniak. Today we're in the Healing Garden at Aurora Medical Center in Oshkosh. We're going to be speaking with Dr. David DeWitt. He's an orthopedic spine surgeon, and we're going to be talking about the different options that are available to people dealing with neck, back, and other areas of pain. Well, thank you for taking some time with us today. You know, so many people deal with back, neck problems, pain, soreness, but a lot of times it's neck and spine related, and that's where you come in. When does somebody actually need to get into the surgical area that you deal with?
Yeah, well, I don't look at myself as a surgeon. I look at myself as a physician first and foremost, and patients don't come to me because they want an operation. Patients come to me because they want information. They want to know what's going on. And we spend a lot of time focusing on pain generators, and we have surgery and non-surgery doctors in our group that provide those services. And it's really for the patients that have an identified problem with their anatomy. So there's some piece of their spine that's causing a problem, whether it's just a back pain related or a neck pain issue, or they're having a pinched nerve or a pinched neural structure like the spinal cord that's causing their problem, that if they fail conservative care, that they may be a candidate for surgical intervention to fix their problem.
And when you're talking about conservative care, are you talking about rehab and things like that before
Physical
surgery?
therapy, chiropractic, injections. Injections can be both therapeutic and diagnostic, and a lot of people don't understand that. Depending on where you put the medicine and what you're putting in there, shots can be very different, and they're very valuable to us in terms of helping us identify a particular pain generator for a patient, because we have beautiful technology like MRI, which shows us a lot of things, but it shows us a lot of things that aren't causing the patient's problem. So especially if there's lots of wear and tear issues going on that we see on the MRI, we don't operate on what looks bad on the MRI, we operate on what is causing the patient's problem. But first and foremost, you got to identify what that is, and that's where injections can be very valuable in terms of helping us identify a specific pain generator.
Yeah. So as a physician, you're not necessarily saying the first thing we have to do is get in there and start doing surgery. You're looking for other alternative means.
Correct. I tell patients there's nothing over here, there's surgery over here, and there's lots of options in between. And my job is to help them figure out what's going on and give them an idea of what treatments are appropriate and what are the success rates of the different interventions. And there's physical therapy, chiropractic, injections, there's holistic therapies, there's a lot of different things that patients can try. And I don't like to see patients wasting their money on things that aren't going to help. And if surgery is really their best option, I'll tell them this. But certainly I try to look at it like it's my problem and how would I want to treat myself or my loved one. And that's kind of how I try to guide my patient.
You know, you go through all those conservative methods, but I know there are times when those don't work. So when does a person become a candidate for surgery?
Well, like I said, if they fail conservative care or they feel that, and they are a candidate for surgery and they're ready for it. And what surgery does is surgery changes your anatomy. So our job is to figure out, is there something going on with the patient's anatomy? There's a disc that's herniated, there's a cyst, there's a bone spur, there's an instability problem, and identifying what the underlying cause of the pain is, and then is there a way that we can change the patient's anatomy to solve that problem, to take a pressure off a nerve, to stabilize a level that's moving inappropriately. And that's really the role of surgery.
Yep. I know you brought us a couple of show and tell things here. These are kind of explaining what happens when somebody needs surgery, right?
Yeah, so we have a variety of different tools to show patients. I'm a very visual learner, and a lot of patients can conceptually understand when they can see things. The words can be confusing, but pictures have 1,000 words, right? So we have three-dimensional models of the spine, including the pelvis, the hip joints. It shows the vertebral bodies and the bone structures. It shows the discs. This is representative of a herniation. And then the yellow structures are the nerves that are coming out of the spine. So we can three-dimensionally show them what we're seeing on the MRI scan. And then conceptually, I use things like acrylic models when we're talking about putting instrumentation into the spine. So implants that are designed to affect a change on the spine and maintain that change while the body's healing. So this is a model that I use to show if a patient has a collapsed disc herniation, I show them where their nerve might be pinched on the spine model, and then I say, okay, if your disc space is collapsed, your nerve is being pinched right here. So the goal of surgery is to unpinch that nerve. Well, why is the nerve pinched? It's pinched because you've lost height on your disc. And by putting a spacer into the spine, we can affect the change on the spine, which unpinches the nerve. And if the bone is stabilized in this fashion with a fusion, this is a fusion device, if it stabilizes in this position, that nerve can never be repinched again at that location. So patients can see that. They see, hey, this is what's happening. I explain this to my chiropractor colleagues as this is indwelling traction. So people can apply traction to this area to make their nerve feel better, but when they stand up and walk again, gravity takes its course and the nerve can get repinched. So this is the way that we can permanently put traction in the spine to solve that problem.
And I would imagine a great relief of getting rid of some of that pain as well.
Yeah, some of our most successful operations are when patients have pinched nerve structures, spinal cord and nerve roots, because that's tremendously painful. If anybody's ever had a pinched nerve, it can cause a lot of pain. that radiates down the arm or the leg, and that really should be reversed after the surgery pretty immediately. So it's pretty rewarding to be able to help people with those types of problems and have them come back
I'm
and
sure it's a
saying,
great relief, great relief. Now, if somebody's experiencing some serious back pain right now, best suggestion to start off, go see your primary care physician?
There's a lot of different entry points. Primary care, chiropractors, and we have physiatry doctors that do a lot of entry-level stuff. I have patients that are referred to me word of mouth. I've helped somebody that they know, and they say, if you have a problem, you should go see Dr. DeWitt. So I may see them having had no conservative care or treatment whatsoever, see them, evaluate them, they go through the same process, and then we decide, you know, what's the most appropriate next step for them. And most times it's trying chiropractic, trying physical therapy, as long as there's no red flags. There are certain things you want to rule out that can be bad sources of back pain, like tumors, fractures, infections. You want to rule out those types of things, but most back pain will improve with conservative care and not need an operation.
All right, well, we appreciate you taking some time with us today.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Thanks. If you have any questions or you'd like to set up an appointment with Dr. DeWitt, you can give us a call here at Aurora Medical Center in Oshkosh at 303-8700. I'm Ted Stefaniak, and we'll see you next time on Focus on Health.
This Focus on Health segment has been brought to you by Aurora Healthcare.
Thanks again, Ted, and that's going to do it for this episode of Oshkosh Today. Thanks again for joining us. Make sure you catch all your community programming on CATV2 or as well as OshkoshCommunityMedia.org for replays of your favorite shows. You can also go to our YouTube channel and share them with your friends. Of course, as always, you can hear Oshkosh Today and other programs on the radio at 101.9 WOCT, which is also streaming online on the OCMS website or on the TuneIn Radio app for mobile devices. Don't forget to like our Facebook page or follow us on Twitter for both city and programming updates. And finally, if you're a Pinterest fan, make sure to check out our board for the latest snapshots of the city. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can email me at emackowski@ci.oshkosh.wi.us. As always, thanks again for joining us on Oshkosh Today, and we'll see you next time.
Oshkosh Today was supported in part by the Friends of OCM, Aurora Healthcare, 855 North West Haven Drive. Set design provided by House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard. To find replay times for Oshkosh Today, to be a guest on the show, or to watch online, visit our website at OshkoshCommunityMedia.org.